They affect everyone. Always. Everyone. All the time. Okay? The goal of understanding implicit bias isn't to, like, eradicate it in everyone, because that's not possible. It's to understand why people in
Okay.
society
I think it's
tend to
working now.
have strong implicit
I'm going
biases in
to
some directions,
send the link
and
to these
what we can
people.
do to be more aware of them and to counteract them, because
This
biases
must
are,
be
by
edited
their
out now.
definition,
This is what happens with tech. Things always start going wrong.
inefficient, unjustified. Speedy Boy, thank you for the incredibly kind tier 4 sub. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know why stream was cutting out so much last
bear
night.
with,
I
I
wonder
just
if
need
that
to
was just
send out
YouTube, because I checked all of my things in OBS
link.
and it was all fine. Courage of Naruto and JMuzz99, thank you for the $5 both. I really appreciate that. Can you please react to the Karen breakdown in the mall? Your friend had a very spicy take. I assume by your friend you mean Destiny. I don't know who else you would refer to as my friend without giving their name. For the King, great story building. Yeah, I can look into it.
Yes, Becky, I think we're back.
I don't know about it.
Can you see me? And can you hear me?
What is that? Karen has mental breakdown after realizing she's being recorded. Is it Karen Goes Wild in Victoria's Secret full video? Is that it?
Excellent. So, how about I begin? So, sorry for all that. I'm going to be deleting that other live stream and editing this one, so hopefully other people can't see complete and utter failure. But thank you for watching. Now, let's go to the first unscripted live stream that I'm running on the channel. You can see it's unscripted and extremely unprofessional. Don't worry, my writing is a lot better than my streaming skills. Oh, you said that there's someone in the background. Okay, there are no people in the background, so you might be you might be hearing some ghosts that are behind me. Ooh, that's a little bit creepy. Or it might just be technical issues. Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks. It's you can thank Gabrielle for encouraging this beard. Okay, cool. So the ghost is gone. I'm gonna have to listen to that later. So now first, the main purpose for this live stream is the release of Children of Blood, which is book 13 of the Cat Drummond series. I'm very excited to be releasing this. Well, it's the 13th book. And at times I think that I should be getting tired of writing in this series, but then whenever I finish a new book, it always just rejuvenates me. Reviews are coming in, and the people who have read it already, the early readers, are loving it. And I think you will too. It's available on Amazon if you haven't read it already. And if you are new to my channel, and you're watching this for some reason, we are going to be discussing spoilers for some things. I'll be trying to be as vague as possible so it won't be as spoilery. But fundamentally, this is about just chatting with you guys, and mostly just testing the software. As you can see, I drastically need to learn the software. But I'm glad you have you all here. So let's just discuss Children of Blood a little bit. If you haven't read any of the other Cat Drummonds, you'll need to do so. Well, some of the early Cat Drummond books you can just pick up on the go. You'll miss out a little bit, but you can read it and still understand what's going on. This book is a direct continuation of Book 12, Cursed Earth, and in fact is set only a week after the events of that book. And if you've read that, you know that they needed much more than a week in order to relax for the next battle, but they don't get that. And I think that's that relentlessness which is defining a lot of the late novels in the Cat Drummond series. There's another book though that I would advise reading before reading book 13, which is Bloodhunter. So Bloodhunter is a fan favorite of many, but it's still one of the less read of the Catverse books. I think it's because it is a prequel, and a lot of people don't like prequels, but it's a prequel of a different character in the series. So you're not So it's not just, seeing Cat in high school and all that, which actually could be quite fun. It would be a very different type of book. But it follows Guy Mgebe, as he travels the Trans-Sky, slaying vampires and trying to avenge his family who were taken from him by Zulu vampires. Very fun book. Really enjoyed writing it. A lot of people seem to enjoy reading it. Now, the reason that book is, I would say, is required to read for you to read book 13 is that it's book 13 is effectively the second chapter in the Bloodhunter saga. A lot of the book does have Guy Mgebe's point of view, and it's about his basically it's the continuation of his quest, his storyline, but merged with Cat's storyline. So it's pretty cool because I also get to explore the world, the current world, and the current story from another character's perspective, which is quite nice to see what Guy thinks about other characters and what he thinks about Cat and the world around. Because he's fundamentally a very different character from Cat, but he shares essential values, which is quite interesting to see. Also, he is a normal human, and while Cat has become a little bit powerful during the course of the series, Guy is just a normal human, which I find is really cool because it just shows it raises the stakes a lot, and I think it's a lot more virtuous to have this person who's quite weak. Well, weak in the sense compared to the people he's fighting alongside, but still able to do so much, and it's just so resilient despite having no magic and no special abilities. So you can get Children of Blood on Amazon. If you buy it before midnight tonight, South African time, you'll be saving $2 or equivalent. And tomorrow I'll be raising the price. So get it while it's hot. Now I'll be moving on to questions and answers. Now these were asked on the Facebook group and on my Facebook page. Make sure to join the Cats Crusaders Facebook page Facebook group if you haven't already. And also make sure to ask questions in the live chat now, and I will answer them at the end of the chat of this stream. So first question: would you ever grant Alex, which is Cat Drummond's cat, immortality and or other powers, and is this feasible? Okay, so Alex is just a cat, but cats are very important, and I have said quite a lot in private that I will never kill a cat in my book, in any of my books, because I value my life, and I know that a lot of my family members and friends and also readers would track me down and murder me if I was to harm any cat, especially Alex. You don't have to worry about Alex dying, so he's functionally immortal. Power-wise, well, you're going to have to wait and see. There are some books which I'm thinking about that might focus on Alex. Now, what are your plans for the series is the next question. So this actually links into the next question after that, which is how many books do we have left? So at the moment, I've just taking a little bit of a break, then I'm going to be outlining book 14, which is called The Last Light, which is going to continue on right after book 13. I think at this point you can kind of guess that you need to read each book in order. You can't just pick them up as standalones, which I think is fine. It is a series after all. I'm planning on ending the series as it is now at book 16. So the one after book 14 is going to be called Shadow Realm, but they're not going to come out one after the other. So I'm going to be writing book 14, and after that's done, I'm going to be taking a break from the Cat Drummond series to write my science fiction series, just to finish it, because I've been leaving my sci-fi readers hanging for a very long time. And after I finish my sci-fi series, which I need to write 5 to 6 more books, I'll be returning, and I'll be writing book 15 and book 16, which are going to be very much longer than the average Cat Drummond book. I want it to be a proper epic that is going to tie up all the loose ends. But that doesn't mean it's going to be the end of the series after book 16. If there's demand and if I feel like it, I may continue Cat's storyline in the future. There's definitely I'm going to be leaving it open ended. So it's not going to be like, everyone dies, the world ends. I can't go anywhere from there. There will be paths left for the story to continue, if I wanted to. I will also am planning some other books set in the same universe. So there's a Cindy Giles trilogy that I want to write. There's also a Conrad Coy series which I want to write, which will delve into a lot of the background, where like Cindy talks about how she banished Satan, and how Conrad keeps talking about the almost angel apocalypse, and I think that'll be very interesting to explore. And also those will be nice feeders into the Cat Drummond series, but those will be prequels. There may be some novellas that I'll also write just to flesh out the series. I know that Pranish and Trudy, there is just a single novella I want to write for them, because there are loose ends which I don't think I'll be able to get to in the main series. So the next one is a possible spoiler for Bloodhunter. So if you haven't read Bloodhunter, I'd say shut your ears and just mute something for the next few seconds. So actually, in fact, I'm going to tap myself on the head when I'm finished with the spoilers. So Graham will probably not come back, and the reason for that is his sacrifice shows his virtue, and if he was to be able to come back, it would lessen the impact of his sacrifice. So that's one of the reasons I'm not going to bring him back. But he is discussed and referenced in Book 13, and he meant a lot to Guy, so he will keep coming back because of that. Now, spoilers done. So next one actually links to the first question. Will the cats feature more prominently? You guys really like cats. So they are, for the sake of the main series, the cats are just normal cats. Great, cats are great in their own right, but while they mention in a few scenes, it's very hard to have a non-talking cat have a prominent role. But that doesn't mean that they won't have won't feature more prominently. For people who have read the short story Demonic Departure, it's the demon in the short story mentions that Mr. Mittens, the cat, is a sentinel, and that there's a treaty between the sentinels and the demons. So now that is a little bit of a vague reference that only a few people have picked up on, that the cats, or at least Mr. Mittens, is more important than just a normal cat. Now that's probably not going to be explored in the main series, but I have thought of writing more of a children's series, maybe sometime in the future, which will feature the cats as the main characters. And I think I might as well just tell you what sentinels are, because it's not really a spoiler, it's just fun background lore. Sentinels are cats who guard the waking realm from dark spirits. So when Duer actually mentions in one of the books that Alex fights dark spirits, he wasn't joking, and he wasn't doing his normal pixie nonsense. The cats and the sentinels will stare into nothingness and stuff because they are tracking down spirits and basically fighting them on some sort of spiritual realm. So I think that's pretty cool, and I think they'll make a nice little children's series. So next one's more a statement than a question, but I quite like it. I'm very afraid of the day that the Titan awakes. Yeah, and you should be afraid. And it may or may not happen. Last question. Will Kat and her Crusaders ever travel to another country again? So, yes. Yeah, I'm just going to say yes. And it's not going to be just one country. They're going to be. It's going to be a nice little road trip, kind of like in the Silver Star again. And it's going to be very major. And that will be not the next book, but one of the two afterwards. And I think that attentive readers should be able to guess what country they're going to and why. So in this next segment, I would like to discuss my plans going forward. So I've already discussed some of them, with book 14 coming out hopefully by September, but I can't be too sure. The state of politics in South Africa is a little bit tenuous at the moment, and my other job is reporting on politics. So that's very draining, and it does take up a lot of my time. But I'm going to be aiming for a September release for book 14. And as I already mentioned, after book 14 is done, I'm going to be returning to my sci-fi to complete it. That should take up, I would say, around a year, maybe a little bit more. And then I'm going to return to write book 15 and 16. And then that's going to be the end of the main arc of the Cat Drummond series, at least for now. And then I will either be going to the other Catverse prequels and side stories, or I'll be moving on to a new series. I know that I want to get into epic fantasy. I love epic fantasy, and I really want to write it. So actually stay tuned for that, because I'm going to be doing some intensive community stuff and community building and interactive world building when I finally get to my epic fantasy. But that's far in the future. So I'm going to look to the chat now for some questions. Okay, so Gabrielle asks that she always wanted to know how Heiliglich is pronounced. Now, I'm not a good person to ask, because I put in a lot of non-English words into my books that I don't know how to pronounce myself. I know that one of my beta readers constantly asks how to pronounce a lot of the Zulu words in Bloodhunter, and I just have to tell her I don't know. I'm a written person. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of English words. I pronounce it Heiliglich. I'm not. It's German for holy light, and I'm probably butchering that. But you can probably, if you just look for, I give all readers permission to just call it holy light if they don't want to pronounce it like that. And so, any more questions after that? I see it's not a question but a statement by Becky earlier. Zulu vampires. So I will say as a disclaimer, I wrote Bloodhunter last year, so you can't accuse me of taking advantage of current events with my content. But I really enjoyed writing it, because it goes into a lot of South African history and South African alternative history and speculative fiction. There's some articles on my website on cat.nicholaswoodsmith.com about the Zulu Empire and how all this started happening. Cool. Thank you, Beverly. She says I'm doing a great job in pronunciation, just more guttural, back of the throat. So I'm very bad at doing that. I almost failed Afrikaans for that reason, and also the fact that I couldn't speak it. I still managed to pass, which is a miracle. Are there any final questions? Otherwise, I think it's time to put this live stream to bed. I'm not sure how long the delay is between chats and when you hear me, but I think there's actually been a fun live stream besides technical difficulties. I can say there's almost always technical difficulties when I'm recording not live, but you don't get to see those because I get to edit them out. But this has been enjoyable. If you haven't already, make sure to order Children of Blood on Amazon before midnight tonight South African time. And I hope to see you in the next stream. Cheers.